What's going on, everybody? In the mail today I got my Zero Glide nut, which I'm really looking forward to because a lot of people that own Les Paul style guitars and SG style guitars have said a lot of good things about this. So today we are going to do the install. So you're going to need your Zero Glide nut, a razor blade, a piece of 1x, and a hammer. And some super glue, but you're not going to need super glue for a little while, because I'm not going to need super glue for a little while. I like to make sure my nut is in the right place before I glue it in place. So, here we go. Alright guys, so, I came across something pretty important here as far as my guitar is concerned. Now, normally what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your razor blade and score that area right there, and then what you would do is take your sorry about that, take your piece of 1x and put it against there and bat it with a hammer. Now, upon further observation, I noticed that my nut is actually sunk below the finish. So I'm still going to score it with the razor blade, but I'm not going to be popping back on it with the piece of 1x and hammer. I'm going to try to pull it up and out, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm afraid if I hit it, it could damage this finish anyway, because it's kind of countersunk into that finish. So let's see how it goes. Alright, well, what I was afraid of did not happen. I just tapped on it like normal. But if you can see, let's see if I can get it to focus. This nut was really down into that finish. So, something to think about when you guys are working on stuff like this. Because you definitely don't want to damage your finish up in here, you know. So here's my old nut here, and here's the new one that's going to be going on there. And as you can see, the first thing that bothers me, well, obviously it's too wide. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But the strings don't line up exactly. The good news is it's actually too wide, the spacing on it, which means I can cut in and get this evened out. But as you can see, obviously I've got some work to do here, so I'm going to fiddle around with this and get it perfect. Really sorry about that focusing, guys. Anyway, I'm going to fiddle around with this and get it ground down back to where it needs to be, and then we'll move on with the install. It is worth noting, here's the new one that goes in. Obviously it's too wide, but it is worth noting that the string spacing doesn't really matter that much with this nut, because the strings aren't going to be sitting on this nut. The nut's not going to have anything to do. The nut is just going to guide the strings up to the tuners, because the fret, the 0 fret, is what's going to, what would normally be that side of the nut, where, your strings have to be as far as intonation and all that good stuff goes. So I just put this in here just to see how it is. It's too wide. I'm going to grind it down, and then, like I was talking before, the string spacing, I'll get that up. I'll get this nut basically looking like my old one before I do anything else. So that's what I'm off to do. Something else worth mentioning. You are going to have to trim this fret to the size you need. So I didn't know that. I bought this, the one that was for Gibson. So I know this isn't a Gibson, but it's the same specs. So I didn't know. You got to trim your fret, because it comes in a long length. It comes in different lengths. I'll just get this out right now. Not different links. It comes in different sizes, as you can see. Small is the green one, low, red, purple, medium, blue, high, no color, jumbo, black, super jumbo. So you've got 6 different 0 frets to choose from. So this is actually a little more work than I intended. If you can see the little marks on my nut, see the little pencil mark right there and right there? That's actually where my strings need to be. God, I just cannot get this thing to focus today. Anyway, that's where my strings need to be. All of the strings, every string space lines up except for the 2 outer ones. And like I said, the good news is that they need to go in. So that's good news. Which it doesn't really matter all that much anyway, because this is just a guide. The nut becomes just a guide, no more. So anyway, I'm going to keep on this. I just about got the nut to where I want it, and then I just got to shape it a little, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so the further I've gotten along in this, I'm really not happy with the string spacing on this. I mean, I can live with it, but it's not perfect, and it's going to irritate me. It's going to irritate me and irritate me, even though nobody else will probably even know it's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish this install and everything. I'm going to order a blank and cut my own string slots. So I'm just going to make this like the first part of this video, because now that I've put this on, I realize, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but I realize what a front bow my neck has in it. I haven't adjusted this guitar yet since I've got it. I mean, the action's always been really good on it, and I was thinking that with the 0 nut it'd even get better. So, but now I realize, God, this really needs a neck adjustment, and which is going to, require a whole setup, which is fine. I planned on changing the strings again, and doing a setup when I put this new nut in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this the first part of this video, because otherwise I think it's just going to drag on, and I don't want to point anybody away from the 0 nut. Of course, there's a little work involved in putting it in, but I think I'm going to be really happy with this. I've got it hooked up right now, and basically in position. I still need to polish it and trim this fret and get it where I want it, but yeah, I think I'm really going to dig this a lot. So this will be the first part, and the second part I'll hook it up and let you guys hear it and all that good stuff and see the action. So if nothing else, this is just kind of informative. And I said that there was 6 different wires here, different fret wires, but there's actually only 4, and they are color coded, and it's a matter of size. I suppose a luthier could tell you more about that. Basically, they just tell you fiddle around with it and see which one you like the best. For me, I really like the action that you used to see on the old Jackson guitars, and that's how all of my guitars are set up, or as close as I can get them to it. This guitar in particular is the first Les Paul that I've had that's had this type of action. I'm really happy with it. So, all right, so this is part 1. There it is. It's in place. Little bit of shaping and polishing, make it look nice, and trim this fret, and then I'll do a whole setup, and we'll go on to part 2 of the video. So I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this for what it is. I know I said that was going to be the end and going on to part 2 of the video, but I just wanted to add to that a little bit, just to kind of, this video is just to kind of give everybody an idea that, the Zero Glide nut, it's not just a plug and play thing, because, like, okay, when I ordered it, they say, oh, which one do you want? Do you want the one for the Gibson? Do you want the one for the Martin? Do you want the one for the Fender? So I ordered the one for the Gibson, you know, because that's basically what the specs are on this guitar. Well, you know, it's close, but I mean, obviously you've got to trim the frets, and so it's not a plug and play thing, but it's definitely something, you know, I would think just about anyone can do. I've got this now. I actually changed the fret that I was going to use. I was going to use that small one. This is like a jumbo fret, which is closer to what my frets are, and the action's good on it. And I just cut this, and I'm working on getting the bevels right now. And so yeah, it's kind of like they give you a bunch of different fret wires, and you just kind of fiddle around with it until, you know, you get the one you want. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I said before, I think I'm going to be really happy with this. But, you know, just to kind of let people know that I know there's a lot of people that are contemplating this, doing this to their guitars, and I know the people that I know that have done this to their guitars are really happy with the results. So I think I'm going to be happy too. But so I've got everything taken apart. I decided, you know what, while I have it taken apart, I'm going to go ahead and polish my frets and clean it up and do the whole deal before I restring it. Might as well just get it over with, because I never did a full setup on this guitar. So I might as well just go ahead and do it while I've got everything pulled apart. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it was, you know, somewhat informative or whatever.